your wildest dreams.
So many things I never could see. So many choices falling on me. Could it be my destiny to be Shaman?
Shaman King, to be Shaman, Shaman King. If your spirit is strong, you could be the one.
I can look at the world in a different light. I know what it takes to make it right, and I won't give up the fight to be Shaman.
Shaman King.
Hey guys, welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm going to be your host Shinry here at Everything Anime Podcast, everything from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and every other topic I'm talking about. Today's video is on Shaman King Volume 8. Now I know, we just did Shaman King Volume 7 very recently. But as I said, I want to do one volume every month. And technically, we are in the month of July. So this video will probably come out the 4th of July, like a 4th of July special video. I like to do some videos dropped on certain holidays. And so that's probably when this video will come out, even though I've just finished it recently today. Also, if you guys are new to the Shaman King videos, I've read Shaman King before. Quick little, give me one second. If you guys are new to the Shaman King videos, I've read Shaman King before, but I had never read the official ending. And one of these volumes, the author at some point just like said like he was taking a break, he was going on a hiatus. Kind of like Hunter x Hunter, kind of like the Gray Man. I've talked about it before in previous videos. I don't want to keep doing the same long ass intro to explain all this. But basically, the 4Kids version, it only goes into a certain part of following the manga, and then it goes off and branches to its own thing. Kind of like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and Fullmetal Alchemist. You know, Fullmetal Alchemist had caught up to the manga, and then because the manga wasn't finished, Fullmetal Alchemist just made its own thing, and then Brotherhood is the official ending. Apparently, Shaman King Netflix is the official ending to Shaman King, but Shaman King Netflix rushes through the anime, just like they killed Yu Yu Hakusho like that, just like the Bleach movie. Like, the Netflix anime, when they try to adapt something, they kind of rush it. I would not even be surprised if Record of Ragnarok's a little bit longer in the manga. I would not be surprised at all. But anyways, that's how we are doing this whole video, this whole series, to read the manga from start to finish and see how, like, what really happened. So anyways, so we last left off, Tao, Ren, and Yo Asakura, their fight was coming to an end. And we flashed over to Tao Jun in China talking to her father, Tao En, and she said something to her father, like, you know, to the effect of, Yo is so good, so pure, and Ren doesn't know anything about that. Ren just holds hatred and anger. He doesn't know love and compassion, and Yo shows that even when he's fighting, that is why my brother will lose. That is why your son will lose. And her father's just like, what? And so that's where the story continues off from there. So after June tells her father that her brother Raloon, Tao En is immediately furious. He's like, first of all, why are you like believing in Yo? Why are you not rooting for your brother? Why are you not on your brother's side? Don't you want your brother to become the Shaman King? Don't you want your brother to redeem our family, to get us back to what these humans and people took from us, you know, our dynasty? How they ran us out of our own country and made us go to this small part of China? He demands an answer from his daughter, and she simply says, because his opponent is Yo Asakura. Like, she's like, I lost to him, Ren's lost to him once before. She's like, he will lose, father. Like, Yo is that bitch. Okay? Back in the battle, Ren has put all of his power into a final blow. 100% of Oversoul with Basan, 100% of Oversoul with the horse that, like, Basan rode on, like, I think, like, 1,600 years ago. It's, like, his, like, war horse. And Ren cannot form another Oversoul with these, both at 200%. Like, I think Ren had maybe, like, 210% left. So even with 10% left, he won't have that full Oversoul. Like, his Oversoul, to form it, costs 100% of its power. So, and that's it once it's, like, broken. Obviously, like, you don't use 100%, like, it drains over time. Like, when your Oversoul is destroyed, then that takes the whole 100%. So now that he's using 200%, this is it. He's hoping to kill Yo in, like, one blow. Meanwhile, Yo realizes he doesn't have enough power to block both of these, so this could be it for him. Like, Yo, he did destroy Ren's Oversoul twice, I believe, maybe 3 times max. I think it was just twice. But if it was 3 times, it would be 3 times max. But the thing is that Yo's Oversoul only takes 30% of his power, but his Oversoul has been destroyed 7 times, I believe he said at this point. Go. Sorry, this cat is just always in the way. And anyway, so Yo is also like, it takes me this much strength to destroy your oversoul even once, and I have to take several blows. So with you coming in at 200%, Yo, this could be the end of the fight. And Yo is simply just looking back, smiling, saying, well, I can't block it, I can't dodge it, so there's only one thing left. And the only option left is to take it head on. And I have this funny saying, like, it's stupid, honestly, but, like, I always say, like, blocking is a waste of time. Like, attacking your opponent is the only way that you're going to find out who's stronger and how you're going to win. But that's, like, it was like a joke I've had since I was a kid. I never block in video games, so I'd always lose, or I'd get lucky to win by not blocking. But I remember this one time I was playing Kingdom Hearts, and I was playing against Xehanort, and it's kind of like the Dragon Ball Super thing when, like, Piccolo's like, he finally learned to dodge.
What about how to fly?
Dodge!
Oh, man. This training with Mr. Piccolo is really difficult. But I think I'm finally getting the hang of it.
Dodge!
I didn't block, okay, in Kingdom Hearts. I just learned to dodge. So I was like, I found my compromise. I will not block. I will keep attacking, but, I will dodge when I have to. Anyways, Yo's announcement shocks everyone. Ren, Morty, Silva, the spirits are like, what do you mean you're going to take it head on? And then we get hilarious. I think we get hilarious reactions from Silva and his spirits. They're like, I think it's like a panel after they realize that, like, Yo's gonna take on the thing. They're like, what are you talking about? How are you gonna take on 200% of his oversoul power, and you have a 30% oversoul, and you don't even have a full oversoul? Like, Yo has not used 100% oversoul yet, not once. Even Tao En finds the scene hilarious because you got to remember they're all watching this fight. The Shamans at the stadium that have already made it into the main Shaman King tournament. Then you've got Tao En in China and his daughter June watching, and you got probably like Goldva and all the Pat's tribe watching. This is the last fight in the Shaman King tournament, or Shaman King preliminaries. They're all watching this fight. So everybody can see the perspective of this. They're showing everybody's perspective from the broadcast, pretty much. Tao En believes that, like, Yo stands no chance against his son, even though his son already, like, defeated him in the past. That's why I think it's crazy. Like, Yo defeated Tao Jun and Lee Parsan. I'm going to be getting his name confused, but, Tao Jun's zombie ally, the Bruce Lee, like, copy. And then he defeated Tao Ren, like, in their very first fight. So I'm like, what do you mean you, like, Yo can't defeat your son? Like, he's already done it. So, but he goes on to say, like, he looked into Yo in his past. He's like, I know about Yo. I know about the Otsuka family. Like, they ain't nothing. Yo is a slacker. Yo don't train. Yo is a lazy. He beat my son with luck. That's pretty much what Tao En's mindset is. But sometimes it does take a little bit of luck to win a fight. Remember, if you watch my Black Myth Wukong video, defeating all the secret bosses, first of all, use a game guide. You're not going to find all the secret bosses about it, and you're not going to know how to take down some of the secret bosses without a guide. But even then, knowing those weaknesses and tricks, it still takes a lot of luck in Black Myth Wukong. So every fight requires a little bit of luck to win, in anything. Tao En is like, you're just weak, but, oh yeah, I've already talked about this. June goes on to say, though, that the reason why that she and Ren lost is because Yo, he like understands you while he's battling you. He feels your pain. He tries to understand your pain. He takes it in while also showing warmth and love that is foreign to them. Like, again, Tao June and Tao Ren, they grew up in blood. They grew up in revenge. They grew up in, like, a family that, like, assassinated people just to get their bodies and to add them to their zombie army. Add them to, like, their slaves. Whereas Yo, he grew up in a family that loved him. He he has friends. He has Morty. He has Horo. Like, he has Anna. You know, he has Tamio. He has like a group of people that care about him. And she's like, you know, we don't have that. So that's why, like, you know, and the fact that Yo even has been in isolation, like, he does understand like Ren's isolation, because like, you know, Yo was seen as an outcast when he did go to school as a kid. That because he could see spirits, but other people that couldn't see spirits or non-shamans couldn't see spirits, they like kind of shunned him. Again, he kind of like a Naruto backstory in a way. So, yeah, she's like the fact that Yo can do all that and still feel empathy for his opponent. That's why Ren's gonna lose. Back at the battle, Ren uses his ultimate technique once more, a Gatling barrage of thrust with like his like, you know, lance. Kind of like, again, we're not reinventing the wheel, but like, you know, again, looks like Gum Gum Gatling, but again, this is probably like around the same time that was coming out. But meanwhile, Yo is just standing there unnerved. Yo has not done anything. His oversoul is out, but he's not like moving, so it's kind of weird. It's like, okay, Yo, you're about to get pierced. What's the plan here? He's coming at you with 200%. And that's when Yo's like, well, I've been watching and learning from Ren putting more power to his oversoul to make it bigger. And Yo's like, because I can't dodge it, because I can't block it, it's like, I'm either going to win in this moment or I'm going to lose in this moment. So, like, whether I can do it or not, it doesn't matter. If I don't do this, I'm going to die. If I do this and it works, great. You know, so he's like, fuck it. If I run out, if the oversoul doesn't work or not, then, you know, I'm out of the Shaman tournament either way, or I'm dead. And, of course, it immediately works, creating a giant oversoul of Midamaru's upper body. I remember when I first read this in the manga as a kid, I was like, holy shit, this is cool. And it goes back to, like, what Yo's grandfather was saying at the end of Yo's training in the cave. He's like, one day you'll be able to form a fully formed oversoul. I mean, Midamaru's full body will be able to stand next to you. I've never seen that. I don't know what that's going to look like in the manga. I know the 4Kids anime does something like that. But again, because the 4Kids anime goes off and does its own thing, I don't know if that's exactly how it ends. I don't know if that's exactly what it's going to look like. But still, just insane to see. I still love it seeing it now, over like 20 years later. Oh, sorry. I've got the hiccups or something. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get some water. Ren tries not to be impressed by Yo's oversoul, though at only 30% of an evolved oversoul, Yo was able to destroy Ren's giant oversoul. So I'm like, Ren, the fact that Yo destroyed your oversoul at 100% and his is at 30%, and yours is like a fully formed upper body oversoul, and Yo just had like a 30% oversoul with Midamaru's just like kind of soul flame over it. I'm like, you should be terrified that Yo is now at 100%. That means like Yo might be able to destroy Yo 200% like with ease. The fact that he destroyed 100% with 30%. Now, on the same level, Midamaru is blocking all of Hasan's attacks, like, because we know that, you know, Midamaru is a master swordsman. So already when he was just like a flame, you know, he was able to block Ren's attacks when, you know, Ren just had like, you know, the blade, and, you know, Basan was holding it without Yo even having to move, because like Midamaru said, like, he can be Yo's eyes and ears and all that without Yo having to do anything, because like Yo's had to control his arm. And so now, like, with this fully formed oversoul able to fight for Yo without Yo having to move, it's like, yeah, you're in trouble. And also, Ren is blinded by anger. Like, you can see the rage inside of Ren's eyes, where Yo is just like his calm face. Like, he's not like over exaggerating. This is Yo. Yo doesn't want to do anything that like stresses out his body or makes him feel like he's not himself. As he said previously, like, you know, it makes him feel like, it throws him off. It throws him off his game when Yo tries to do things that aren't him or act in a way that's not himself. The impact of their clash sends a shockwave of Aryoku in this beautiful panel, blasting back trees, and like, I know it's like a manga panel, but like sometimes the way these authors draw, you can feel like the air, you can feel like the emotions, you can feel the scene as though it was actually playing out with you in an anime. And I really think that's cool. I love the detail that a lot of these guys can do, especially like the speed lines in Black Clover, you know, and I know Dragon Ball Z is capable of that too in the manga, but just incredible. I love how much dedication and detail they put into these manga panels. And as their clash comes to an end, all the shamans across, like, you know, watching, whether in the stadium, whether it's Tao En and Tao Jun or Goldman, the Patch Tribe, they all appear to be watching in silence as the battle appears to finally be over. They're waiting to see who won. With both of their Furyoku and Oversouls appearing to be extinguished, it seems like they both might have lost, or that like maybe one's extinguished faster than the others. Also, as I said, Morty, who took a taxi to go back to Anna's place, I knew he couldn't make it back in time. There was no way Morty could have caught a taxi, made it to Anna's place, and then back to the fight before 10 minutes was over. Like, that would have been insane. And I'm so glad that was not written in here, that, like, Morty made it back at the last second, because I'm like, how, bitch? How? And we would even need a panel of him and Anna talking. So, yeah. No, I'm glad that didn't happen. But I do like this panel, both of them appearing exhausted. It's a great detail, and, I want to show it off for a few seconds. Like, they're panting. Again, it's a still image, but, like, I guess, like, our imagination or the way he draws it or the way you can just tell from the fight that, like, you can tell these two fighters gave it everything they got. And because the way this battle ended, again, we're all wondering, like, who won? They both seem like they're both out of Furyoku. They both seem like they lost. And then you'll never guess what happens next. You'll never guess. In a million years, you'll never guess it. You ready? Ren admits defeat. His oversoul vanishes, and despite he's looking angry, he also seems like content and satisfied, and that's later confirmed in what he goes on to say. But it's just incredible that Ren at all admitted that he lost. Because again, this was his chance to be in the Shaman King tournament. Ren doesn't get another fight. If Ren lost this fight, he's out of the tournament. So the fact that Ren's just like, you beat me. I won. You won fair and square. The first time you beat me. And we got to remember, he did acknowledge in the beginning of this fight that Yo has a power that he cannot refuse. He did admit the first time he fought Yo, it wasn't just luck. Yo did defeat him. But he goes on to say that Yo is like wind or water, a force that cannot be cut. And I know you might use some examples of One Piece, like, when Luffy and Zoro, they cut the wave of water. But you can't literally cut water. Like, you can't. It's just going to come back together. You can't cut the wind. It's just going to come back together. You might, like, create a space for a bit, but it's going to come back together. And where Ren only knows how to destroy things, because you can't destroy water and you can't destroy wind, he's like, I stood no chance against you. The fact that you're like wind and water, I don't know how to destroy that. I don't know how to destroy you. So I knew from the start I couldn't defeat you, Yo. Again, amazing character development from Ren. This is a side of Ren we've never seen before. This is a side of Ren that Tao Jun was talking about, And then it's confirmed that he is content. Ren is truly smiling and satisfied despite the fact he's no longer able to chase his goal to become the Shaman King. Ren is out of the Shaman King tournament. And perhaps because he thought maybe, he could see Yo being a great king himself, because Yo is kind of laid back. Yo just wants a happy, easygoing life. He's like, if you wanted the Shaman King, it wouldn't be that bad. Like, at least it wouldn't be an evil ruler, whatever. That is until Yo admits that he lost all of his Furyoku as well. This immediately makes Ren lose all respect for Yo. He falls over. He's like, what? What do you mean you ran out of Furyoku? All the respect he just gained for Yo is gone. And then Yo is begging Ren for a way to help him to explain this to Anna. He's like, hey, Ren, you gotta help me explain this to Anna. The fact that I'm out of the Shaman King tournament, she's gonna be pissed at me. She's gonna kill me. I can't chase my dream anymore. They hilariously begin arguing back and forth about who won and who lost first, and since they're unable to decide the winner themselves, it's up to their proctor, Silva. But I just love it. They're going back and forth, and like, I think Yo started saying some insults that you wouldn't expect Yo to say. I forgot to write it down, but it was still making me laugh that, like, they're butting heads. They're like, you lost. No, you lost. You won. No, you won. Silva lands down before them and tells them that they both lost their mana at the exact same time. The fight ended in a draw. Both Ren and Yo, can't say they lost, but they're even. The score is now, Yo has 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw. Ren has 1 win, 1 draw. So technically, even though Yo had 3 fights, Ren only had to fight twice. And he wouldn't have got another fight. So they're both technically at the same draw, a complete draw, even in score. So then, who goes on to the main tournament? Who goes on to the Shaman King tournament? This is the last fight. If this fight was to determine who's the last fighter to join, how can we decide? Well, the Great Spirit has already informed Goldbutt and all of the Patch Tribe. They have all appeared there. All remaining 8 proctors. You know, there used to be 10, but, you know, what's his name? Chrome. Chrome died. The one that loved to sing and dance, he died, you know, as Silva loves to go on and say. But the Patch Tribe tell them that the Great Spirit has decided Yo and Ren both will move on to the Shaman King tournament together. Not as a team, but they both get to move on. That was such an amazing reveal. The fact that, like, Ren's not out of the tournament. Because Ren is such a great character. And especially seeing this development from him now, since we've met him, I would love for him to stick around. I would love for him to join a team. And eventually we do form a team. I'm kind of skipping ahead of myself. But we do eventually have a team with you guys. If you don't even know who the team members are, we do form a team. And now that all the fighters have been decided, entering the Shaman King tournament, we can now have the opening ceremony. The opening ceremony can now begin. Tao, Ren, and Yo Asakura have been invited to, like, the preliminary, the opening ceremony, and, like, they're going to join all the other fighters. So that following evening, Ren and Yo, they're among the other shamans in the opening ceremony. And Yo is standing right next to Horo, my favorite character. Ren's just standing next to nobody. There's also a secret character hidden in there, which I would have loved, even if he's in the background, even if we don't focus on him, if we could have just saw a tease of him or his hair, that would have been great, because we get a reveal later. And maybe Hirio Taki wanted to save that reveal, which is still a great reveal, but I still would have liked a little tease, you know, just to, like, you blink and you miss it, just like Death and Puss in Boots, you know, the last wish, how Death, you didn't see it the first time, but when Death reveals that he was there the whole time, you see him that time. I wish it was something like We then learned that the official main round of the tournaments began in 1 month, and the fight times and etc. will be sent via their Oracle Bell. So, like, you have 1 month to relax, 1 month to go home, 1 month to spend with your loved ones, and then the fight will begin. They tell them, you know, go home, enjoy it, because after this, your life will change. Your life will never be the same. The reason why is once you enter the main rounds of the Shaman King tournament, if you win or if you lose, you're probably going to die. You are definitely going to die. You're going to probably be killed. And then second of all, if you win the Shaman King tournament, you're going to be the Shaman King. You're going to be fused with the Great Spirit. You're going to be fused with God. He's going to be your spirit ally. You will never get to live this ordinary life. So enjoy it. Enjoy the simple things, you know. Enjoy ice cream and watching movies and you know, spending time with your family, you know, because you're not going to be able to do that after you win or lose the Shaman King tournament. The next day, Yo and Anna are in class, and Yo is zoning out because, of course, he doesn't care about classes. He's in the Shaman King tournament. In 1 month from now, his whole life's going to change. He's not thinking about class. And, you know, Anna looking beautiful in this panel. For a manga character, she looking good. Okay, I'm gay, but she looking good. She like, yeah, class, bitch, class, you know. So, you know, I think that evening, like, they talk. And, you know, Yo's like, none of this feels real. And Anna's like, all of it's real. All of it, from the fact that you won the Shaman King preliminaries to the fact that you're about to be in the Shaman King tournament 1 month from now. Like, this is all real life. This is all happening. I like that. I like that they added that. I'm skipping over that, but and showing the manga panels, but I like that they humanize that moment to, like, let you know, like, yeah, these are still kids. These are still children, but they are fighting for something bigger than them. They're fighting for the whole world. That night, Ren has also joined the party. Ren is a part of the team now. Horo, along with Anna, Tamio, Morty, and I think Horo's sister's here. And of course, Yo, they're all gathered around to celebrate making it into the main Shaman King tournament. They're all celebrating making it into the main fight of the Shaman King tournament. Morty, of course, is freaking out because Ren is here. You know, the guy that tried to kill Yo twice. But Yo was like, as usual, it's no big deal. Just like a Horo joined the party after, like, they fought. And, you know, Ryu joined the party after they fight. So, like, Morty, you just got to get used to it. Like Yo said in the beginning of the manga, like, anybody that sees spirits can be a bad guy. I'll go. We know there are bad people out there in the Shaman King tournament. We've already seen that. Boss being an example. But, you know, it's just like Yo said, like, you know, it's all cool. We all friends here. Basan even starts crying because he tells us that this is the first time he's seen Ren smile or interact with anybody that aside from like trying to kill them. This is the first time that Ren has people he can relate to, people he can talk to. And so he's like very happy, and I do like that. I like seeing Basan cry. Even Tomorrow and Basan seem to become friends as they have like a mutual respect for each other, because Basan says like it's good to have friends, and Tomorrow is like, yeah, it is good to have friends. And they both smile and smirk. I really like that. Again, great world building. I like seeing our characters come together. What follows is a montage of the guys and females bonding, the females being Anna, Tamio, and her sister. They're all like doing like this like spa bath day thing, which I've seen a lot in Shaman King. I guess like in Japan, like, you know, going to the spa is like, you know, like a big deal or like a treatment, which I mean, honestly it is. Like, you know, getting manicure, pedicures, I need to get me a manicure at some point. But I know like that's like treated like a big deal, you know, like you can like have a relaxing day, especially like when you're about fighting for the world all the time and all that, you know. However, that later that night after bonding, and Ren immediately prepares to leave that night, but Yo is like there. He's like, hey, you leaving the party so soon? And Ren's like, yeah, I gotta get back to China. You know, I'm going back. Yo knows the real reason why Ren is leaving is like, you know, to go back home, but he doesn't know like why. He knows like, you know, Ren's going back home because, you know, like you have 1 month before your whole life's gonna change. And Goldville already told you, spend time with your family, spend time with your friends, you know, settle your beef or whatever you got going on outside, because after this, your life's gonna change. Ren said that he wants to return home because after losing to Yo, he wants to confirm a goal he has and to find out what he wants to do next with his life. So Ren's like, you know, I'm going home. I need to reassess, because my goal was originally to destroy all evil spirits in this world and, you know, cleanse it of humans and, you know, return the world to its natural place. But like, you know, after losing you, I felt different. And, you know, now that that goal's gone, you know, or now that I feel like my goals changed, I need to figure out what I'm going to do next. But he goes on to say he has a third goal. The third goal he has in mind is to get stronger than Yo and defeat him once and for all. So, you know, again, a friendly rivalry. Even Yo's looking forward to it. Yo is smiling, Ren is smiling. You know, they accept that they are friends as well as rivals. And I love that that's how we end that chapter. It's a very cute ending, especially because, again, these are kids. But they've also formed a friendship, you know, through these battles, through like understanding one another. So I really like that, especially where this manga volume ends. So seeing this panel, seeing Ren join the party here is great, because where we actually end is even better. It's like a full circle in one fucking volume. The following day, Yo and Tamio go to town to do some shopping, and they overspend on their bill by like 1,100 yen. I'm not sure how much that is, but like, you know, I know what it's like to overspend on your bill. Other day, I went to the grocery store with a $125 gift card, and it came out to like $154, and I was just like, oh, thank God I got change on my card, because if I didn't, I'd have to be looking embarrassing, trying to be like, hey, take this off, take this off, take this off. But yeah, so I get that part. But as they're talking back and forth in front of the cashier, they're going on about how Anna's gonna kill them for going over the budget, and all the cashier heard was kill, and she makes this dramatic face like, oh my God, someone's gonna kill them for overspending on their bill. It's a hilarious face that made me laugh. Just again, the random details the author throw in there. And it's great to throw humor in there, and even in a serious manga, even if you're not writing a serious manga, it's just great to throw humor in there in your story and stuff like that. So I really love that. This was excluded in the 4Kids anime. I mean, I just don't remember this part at all. But the two ominous shamans that are watching them from the shadows, I know are part of it, because I think 4Kids, up to an extent, up to the part when they get to the Shaman King tournament, the main part, I think the 4Kids stays with them and then it branches off. As they're heading back home, Tamio asks if it's okay that Yo is wasting all this time helping her with her chores. Because again, Tamio is a servant to the Asakura family. This is her duties. She's like, Yo, shouldn't you be training? Shouldn't you be like, you know, working on getting stronger in a month? And Yo is just calm, collected, happy, and as always, and says, no, these are the best of times. Spending it with friends, spending it with family, you know, like, this is my training. I like being relaxed. I like being calm. I like being at peace. And, you know, you're my friend, Tamio, so I don't mind hanging out with you. And, of course, she starts blushing and shit. She's like, oh, my God, Yo, love spending time with me. You know. But he says, you know, but again, yeah, in 1 month, he'll never be able to do this again. So he's enjoying every moment. And I would, too, as well. If I didn't get to see my family again after a month from now, or family or friends, I would spend it with my family and friends, you know, doing stuff I love, you know. Anyways, Tamio goes up in her mind palace thinking about how she gets to enjoy this alone time with him, a married man, by the way, or an arranged married man, that she doesn't realize that they're being followed. But anyways, while she's dozing off, her two spirits, Ponchi and Kanzi, show up to warn her about the two shamans from earlier that have been following them since the store. They're like, hey, we got some information we want to share with you. Well, before we give you this information, you got to give us something. You got to give us something in return. She's like, what? Well, what do I got to give you? And they're like, show us your panties.
そちら実に麗しきお嬢さん、beautiful。
そんな。
私、美人に目がないんです。骸骨だから目はないんですけども、よほほほほ。パンツ見せてもらってもよろしいですか？
見せて！よほほほ！おやおや、敵じゃ！
Okay, Brooke. She immediately beats them up, of course, and they give up the information without holding back anything else. And they're like, hey, these two shamans are following you dumbasses, you ain't noticed it, And that's when this hearse pulls up behind them slightly, but silently but swiftly, almost as if it just appeared out of nowhere. Again, it's a great panel because, I just like how, if a shaman had abilities and powers, I feel like they would creep up on you like that. Like, you didn't know that they're there. And that's when we meet these two iconic antagonists, the Choral Monk Boys. I might be saying the name wrong. They're the Buddhist preaching duo of heresy, or so they call themselves. They play music and they call spirits to pass over, but we'll get more into that. One of them is wielding a microphone, the other one's wielding a guitar. I don't know if we ever get their individual names. I don't remember if they ever say their individual names. I don't think they do in the manga. I don't know. They might have said it in the anime, or they might have made up one in the anime, but I don't think they ever said it in the manga. Or at least not at this point. Supposedly they're a famous group, but no one's also ever heard of them, including Tamio, Yo, Ponchi, and Kanchi, to the point where the spirits are mocking them for their name, and they're just like, what? We're a famous group. How have you also never heard of us? So it's apparently a running gag for them. They say that they're famous, but no one's ever heard of them. Anybody, no one's ever heard of them. But Ponchi and Kanchi won't be laughing too much sooner, because as soon as they start playing their songs, something begins to happen. And that's because the songs they play and sing can send spirits to heaven. That's right, these two shamans are in the Shaman King tournament, and during the month of the Shaman King period, they're out to get rid of their competition by casting off the spirits of their Shaman King rivals and sending them to the other side. So they're out here early, looking for the shamans that have made it to the Shaman King tournament, and they're playing their song to send those spirits to heaven, so they don't have no competition by the time Shaman King tournament starts. And there's nothing against the rules that you can't kill your opponents early. There's nothing against the rule that you can't take out your opponents before the Shaman King tournament starts. Silva never said that, Golva never said that, the Great Spirit never said that. So they're technically not breaking any rules. Just like Foss tried to kill Yo after he won the fight. Silva was going to step in to protect Yo, but there was nothing Yo could have done if Anna or Foss or Silva wasn't there, if Foss had wanted to just kill Yo just for the hell of it. But also, these shamans use Chimi Moru spirits, I think that's what they're called, they're spirits that have forgotten their original forms, so they look mutated, like mutated animals or birds. They look like weird animals. But the spirits are made for fighting. They're for holding on the shaman's opponents while they send out their spirits to heaven with their songs about interruption. So obviously, a shaman's not gonna let you just send their spirit to heaven by playing their music. They're gonna try to attack you. They're gonna try to stop you. So they use these chimney spirits to pin you down while they, your spirit's helplessly going to heaven because they can't stop themselves while they're chanting that song. However, these two know that Yo is dating Anna, who is an Iketo, and can bring spirits back from heaven or hell at her command. Remember, Anna brought back, Imidomaru's best friend, Monosuke, from heaven. She was gonna send Tokagero to hell with her beads. So they're like, we know that you're dating an Iketo. We know that you're dating a summoner. So we ain't gonna send Imidomaru to heaven because, she's gonna bring him back. Instead, we're gonna pin you down with the chimichanga. Fucking strike forward, my chimichanga stand.
when the smoke clears. Wait, what's this?
That's my chimichanga stand.
No, Cookie. We won't be needing that.
Trust me, Fiona, y'all are gonna be really hungry after this ambush, okay? Now go and finish your little speech.
All right.
We're going to hold you down with the chimney spirits, and then we're going to steal your tablet that Amidamaru is hiding in, and then we're just going to hold it off. We're going to hold it till we win the Shaman King tournament, and then we will send your Amidamaru friend to heaven. We just going to hold him hostage till we win the Shaman King tournament. But they say it won't be for... Oh, yeah. I already talked about this. Amidamaru tries to protest by coming out of the tablet, but since they're shamans, they can just touch spirits, so they just force Amidamaru back into the tablet. Kind of like a ghost snapping. They're ghost snapping Amidamaru. Yo obviously is going to stand by and let them steal Amidamaru, but a shaman without a spirit is no match for a shaman with spirits and their army of Chimmy. So the army of Chimmy charge at Yo, and they kind of pin him down, and they plan to just walk off and leave it to Amidamaru, as well as leaving Yo pinned down. And once they escape with their hearse, obviously the spirits, they'll let, Yo go and whatnot. And so they're kind of like a pacifist monk fighting style. I kind of respect it, even though, like, they're the bad guys. It's like, they really are, because monks, they're not seen as fighters. They're seen as like pacifists or Buddhists. They're not known for fighting. And it's kind of like keeping that intact, where like they're not really fighting you. They're holding you back, and they're sending your spirits to heaven without ever having to fight. So kind of a cheesy way to win, but every shaman fights differently. And also, I would respect it if it wasn't fighting dirty before the Shaman King fight started. Because, like, if they did this during the Shaman King fight, during the main tournament, during the preliminaries, that's all fine. That's part of the rules. But again, even though it's not breaking the rules, it is kind of dirty to, like, attack somebody before the Shaman King tournament ever begins. Yo's own willpower and spiritual power, though, however, defeats the Chimmy holding him, surprising in 2 months, as it's normally impossible for a human to cast off that many spirits on his own. Yo's just like, I'm not letting you take my best friend. I'm not letting you take me tomorrow, because we know that Yo sees me tomorrow as his best friend. He sees all spirits as like people, because they were people, so Yo's like, I'm not letting you take me tomorrow. He's my best friend. He's my spirit ally. The two monk brothers now realize the real threat Yo possesses and decide to reveal their own secret Chimmy, their own ultimate Chimmy weapon, which appears to be more Chimmy spirits, although they called them the Lost Pale ones. I mean, I'm not sure if they're different than the first Chimmy spirits they released, but I'm guessing they are, because they called them like the Lost Pale ones. The first ones didn't have a name. But either way, it's like a bunch more, like 100 more Chimmy spirits. Still, Yo is unfazed. She's charging straight towards the monks, obliterating spirits as he goes, and frightening the shamans with their power. They're like, whoa, no one said this kid was that strong. No one said this kid had that much spiritual power. Like, he is, like, still coming at us despite he's being barraged by all these spirits. I won't lie, though. For some reason, I thought Tamio would use her Oversoul here, and we'd see what it could do for the first time, but nothing like that happens. But for some reason, I thought, like, something would happen here with that. But despite Yo is able to charge through, he's slowly getting weaker from the endless barrage of spirits. So much so that the monks think that they're about to win. But that's when someone appears and cuts the remaining spirits down and protects Yo. So at first they're like, okay, Yo's charging at us. But obviously, like, the endless barrage of attacks, he's going to get weaker. The fact that he's taken out this many and destroyed that many is already incredible. But someone else, I mean, obviously he was getting tired. He couldn't keep that up forever. So eventually he would have worn himself out. But then someone comes in and cuts down all those spirits. And this is the secret character I was talking about that we could have got a tease of. And you will never guess, once again, who this is. Wooden Zord Ryu has returned, and he's now a shaman. That's right. My other boy, Wooden Zord Ryu, is back. Bitch. I also remember this in the first time I read the manga. I was like, whoa, who the fuck made Ryu a shaman, and who is his shamanic partner? And again, another fucking surprise that I would not have guessed. Also, as you can see, his pompadour has digivolved once again into 3 layers, sprouting a second miniature one, and this is still not its final form. As I said, the recurring gag in here is that Ryu's pompadour will keep changing every time it gets cut. He's kind of like Mayuri from Bleach, the scientist guy who every time he shows up in the new season, he's got like a different outfit. That's how much Ryu changes. I don't know if T. Kubo and Yuki Tabata, I mean, Hirotaki had the same idea, but that is quite a funny gag. He also shows how strong he is, not only by slicing down straight between the monks in the middle, but he cuts a hearse in half in one blow. Like, Ryu, with a wooden sword, cuts a fucking car in half. Fucking cool. Love it. And that's when it's also revealed who his shamanic ally is. Who else but Tokugero, the one who is similar to Ryu, as we learned in that previous arc, I think like volume 3, when we learned about Tokugero's past, how him and Ryu are similar. Fucking loved that reveal as a kid. I was like, oh my god, of course it makes sense to be Tokugero. But it's still cool if I can see that Ryu came back as a shaman. The two monk brothers flee, and this is the first time we hear the main villain Hao's name, as the monks say they failed their mission and must report back to him. So this is the first time we get teased, volume 8, of Hao's name. I think we saw a tease of him in volume 7, like his picture, or like an image of him. He looked like Yo, or he looks like Yo's twin. Spoiler. Spoiler warning, but already spoiler. Yeah, so we get a tease about this Hao. And Yo says the name too. He says Hao, like he knows it or he's familiar with it. But the mysterious Hao, whoever he is, says that he's not surprised that his lackeys couldn't defeat Yo. But what really surprised him was how strong his shamanic ally or his friend Ryu was. He wasn't expecting that. He didn't see that coming. And neither did anybody else, trust me. But as the shot widens, we can see that Hao has a massive spirit ally, which we'll later come to know as a spirit of fire. The spirit of fire is basically a demon, and in its palms is another flame. So yeah, I ain't saying it's the devil of Shaman King, but it just might be the devil of Shaman King. Back at the mansion, Yo and Ryu meet up with Anna. Back at the mansion, Yo and Ryu meet up with Anna and Morty to tell them the news about Ryu being a shaman, which of course Morty freaks out. Morty's like, Ryu, how are you a shaman? First of all, Morty, why are you surprised? Anna put the spirit of Monosuke into Ryu at the end after he got possessed by Tokugero and Ryu started to see spirits. And Morty at one point got possessed by Monosuke, so I'm like, yeah, you should not be surprised that Ryu became a shaman. Well, I guess because Morty's not a shaman, but I wonder if Morty becomes a shaman in Shaman King. I don't know. That'd be interesting if Morty becomes a official shaman. I know Morty can see spirits. I know Morty got possessed at one point or another, but I don't know if Morty ever becomes a shaman. That'd be an interesting reveal. Or we could just keep him as a human character. That would be cool to just have a human character hang around the group. Anna isn't surprised though, but what is surprising is that not only is Ryu a shaman, but his proctor is also Silva. So Silva's now got three shamans. He's got Ren, Yo, and now Ryu as his three I guess trainees, whatever. Anyways, Ryu goes on to tell us that he already won 2 of his shaman fights as well, and he was among the shamans in the preliminaries at the opening ceremony. And that's why I wish we had got like a tease of him in the background. Like he kind of like shows a shot of Ryu where Ryu was standing, but I wish it would like have shown Ryu like somewhere behind Ren in the background. Whether it be his pompadour, whether it be his wooden sword, just some kind of teaser Ryu was there, like I said, with like, death in Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, where like it's a blink and you miss it, or if you're not paying attention, you miss it, because when we keep the focus on Yo and Horo, we can keep the focus on Ren and Boss, because we know they won, but tease that Ryu was there. That'd have been awesome. That'd have been great. Guys, I gotta take a quick break. My stomach's acting up, and we'll be back to finish this video in one go. Now, Yo goes on to ask Ryu, why did you choose Tokugero of all spirits to be your ally? To which him and Tokugero claim they're having too much fun. Plus, Tokugero says he can't rest in peace until he defeats Midamaru in battle, which gives him another rival just like Tao Ren. But also, as I said, we know that Ryu's looking for his happy place. Tokugero, in a similar way, is looking for his own happy place. So they're kind of like kindred spirits. Also, Horo and his sister are here, which is great. They eventually become a part of the team, as well as a few other members I recall. Again, this is where I'm getting ahead of myself about talking about the team. But Ryu's motivation to become the Shaman King is the same now as it was when he was just like a regular human. It's to find his happy place, not just for himself, but for everyone. To which all the group seems to happily acknowledge, all except of Anna. I'm excluding her, but like I do like that. Like they're all like, we all gotta respect the goal. Horror wants to like, you know, give the nature spirits somewhere like a bigger home. Then you've got who is that? Joe just wants to, you know, live a peaceful, easygoing life for himself. You know, Ren wants to restore all of the world to like, you know, natural peace and kindness and get rid of all the hatred and evil spirits. And then you got Ryu who just wants to have a happy place. I mean, it's just everybody has their own goals. I do like that. Anna, however, knows this isn't the time to relax. Not only is every shaman in the house a rival to Yo, which to be fair, like, that's also a rival to her from becoming Shaman Queen. Like, if Yo doesn't become a Shaman King, she can become the Shaman Queen. But also, so he's like, all of you slackers need to get back into training. We're starting on a super awesome, super intense training right now. So let's get back to these drills. And she's including Horo, whose sister usually is his trainer, and Ryu in that. She's like, all you shamans, you're getting your ass to training. Meanwhile, we switch back to Ren on his way back to China to sever ties with his family and assess his new goals that he wants to set for himself. He's on a train right now to China. He's like been traveling for days. While on this train, he meets an elderly lady and her grandson who notices him brooding and offers him like a peach bun. I'm guessing it's like a snack. And Basan is at first worried that Ren's going to shoot this old lady out because, like, Ren doesn't really care for humans. He, like, looks down on them. He thinks if you're not a shaman or, like, he thinks everybody's less than him. That's how he's been raised. But Ren actually takes it. He chews it and says that it's good. He's making, like, a weird face as he's eating it. But he's like, oh, this is really good. To which surprise Basan and myself as a reader, I was like, okay, Ren is very much changing. This is not the Ren that we're used to. When he's alone with Basan, Ren goes on to explain that before he met Yo, his goal was to destroy all humans and his family because he thought they were all despicable. He thought all humans were evil. But since meeting Yo, he's come to learn that there are people out there who are nice, people that aren't so bad. So he's like, you know, not all humans are bad, you know. He's like, I'm glad I met Yo. I'm glad I fought Yo. I'm glad I learned this from him. I love this because it proves that Tao Jun also, what she said about her brother is right. And again, it adds layers to Ren's personality. She did say that, like, deep down, Ren is nice. He's kind. He's sweet. He cares about people. You know, I like that we're seeing that. Again, it's growing. It's giving the character growth. It's world building. It's great. It also adds to the conflict in his heart. As though Ren realizes this, he says he cannot be a good person because he's killed too many people. Like, he's killed a lot of people to get to this point, you know. It's how he was raised with hatred and blood and getting revenge. So Ren's like, you know, I can't be a good person because I've done all this, but, you know, I'm still going to sever my ties with my family. I'm still going to break that chain. However, he says that because of the peach bun, he's finally made a decision. He will become the Shaman King, but he's got something to do first. Overthrow his father, Tao En. So Ren's goal is still to become Shaman King, probably for a different reason once he becomes a Shaman King. But first, he's like, I'm going to overthrow my father. I'm going to end this cycle of hatred and revenge that's been ruining my family for all these years. And once he does that, when he becomes Shaman King, he'll erase all hatred from the world. That's Ren's new goal. So fucking love that. This is the goal he realized after losing to Yo, after meeting this old lady with the peach bun. He's like, you know, I'm gonna get rid of all hatred, which would be a great thing, honestly. We got rid of all hatred in the world and everybody just loved. But in order to erase all the hatred of others, he has to start with the one inside of himself, and we know the origin of that comes from his family. It comes from how he was raised. And this last really cool shot of the chapter, Ren stands before an army of zombie soldiers smiling. He tells Basan to annihilate the horde of enemies his father placed before them. He's like, Basan, my father obviously didn't want to come greet me himself, so let's destroy this welcome wagon and go face them together. The following panel is a very cool shot of Ren riding a horse with a full oversold Basan and probably a full oversold charged war horse, and they're charging against the army of zombies. And with both of their power, or even the horse spirit, which I'm sure he also fused, they trample over these zombies at ease. Ren at the moment believing his father's underestimating him in his power. Ren's like, oh, I can't believe father thought these zombies, these weaklings could stop me. Like, obviously he thinks I'm a joke. He obviously didn't see how strong I've gotten, so let me go there and show him. But that's when his father's giant body appears out of nowhere, and he says something creepy like, come here, son, I want to pat your head, or squeeze your head. And we see what he did with that panda's head, how he destroyed that with ease. I'm like, I don't know about that. And as large as his father is, Ren didn't even sense him coming. It's like he just appeared. Again, just like that hearse appeared behind Tamio. And it's like Ren's father just appeared. He's like the Jason Bourne T-Rex that's in Jurassic World Rebirth. If you ain't seen Jurassic World Rebirth, first of all, it's a stupid movie, don't watch it. But there's a scene I'm going to show y'all if I can clip it in here. This very stupid scene of how this T-Rex just disappeared. Because T-Rexes make too much noise. But seriously, I think there was a twist with this. I can't remember. I know this was in the 4Kids anime, but I just don't remember it fully. And I know the 4Kids anime kind of rushed through stuff too. So hopefully the manga will give us more detail about it. His power is no joke, though, as not only does he obliterate the zombies, but he sends Ren backwards and his horse flying with, like, a single punch. Like, he punches forward, and, like, all the zombie horde is, like, destroyed, and Ren's blown backwards, and his oversoul is destroyed, and Basan's back to his basic form, and I think, like, the horse is, like, blown away. We also learn that Ren doesn't respect his father. He calls him by his first name, Tao En, which is wild to me because I can never. In my household, I cannot call my grandma Christine. I cannot call my mom Tangela. I cannot call my dad Reginald. They would look at me crazy and probably smack the shit out of me for calling them their first name. But I think it's crazy that kids call their parents their first name. But obviously, you know, Ren didn't have respect for his family. He came here to destroy them. He came here to overthrow his father because his father's an evil tyrant. But also, he learns that his Tao sister June was locked away in a dungeon because she believed in his opponent Yo Asakura. He's like, I can't believe you came here to kill me, Ren. Like, you know, I'm disappointed in you. You should be wanting to get revenge for our family. You shouldn't have befriended Yo Asakura. He's like, you're just like your sister, and I already had to lock her away. We also see that she might have tried to fight him or Lee Parson, who was freed from her control, but chose to stay by her side willingly. Like, you know, how Lee Parson, after she, like, controlled him with that tablet, and Yo destroyed it, and he got his sense back, he chose to stay with her. He might have tried to attack Tao En, but now he's been, like, torn and ripped to pieces. But since he's a zombie, he's technically okay. He's just unconscious. But we can see, like, you know, Tao En destroyed her zombie as well. He destroyed her ally. This is where it's confirmed. We learned that, like, Lee did rebel against Tao En to protect Tao Jun because when he heard her screaming, he, like, went into defense mode. He goes on to say that like, Tao En goes on to say that there's no good or bad guys, only winners and losers. And, you know, so of course, to Tao Jun and Lee Parson, he's a bad guy, but he's only a bad guy because they lost. If they would have won, they would have been seen as the good guys, and he was seen as a bad guy. Because he won, he's like, I decide who's a good guy and a bad guy. The winners decide what's good, what's bad, what's good and what's evil, while the one who loses is just seen as bad. And thus the Tao family should focus on victory because Tao Jun lost sight of that. He's like, the reason why, you know, y'all lost is because you chose to focus on believing in somebody else instead of believing in me, or believing in our goal. Tao Ren, however, won't stand for this as his father. Tao Ren won't stand for how his father is treating his sister, and so in fact, he seems, as we know, since it's the source of his hatred, he plans to kill him, so Tao Jun warns he's strong enough. So Ren obviously is upset that what his father did to his sister and what he did to Lee Parson, and obviously, like, he wants to destroy his father away, so, like, Ren's like, I'm going to kill you. And Tao Jun's trying to warn him. She's like, no, you're not trying to destroy our father. Like, Ren, run, save yourself. Ren actually does go for a killing blow, which is crazy. He tried to kill his father. Opting to stab his father straight to the chest, but he says something is wrong. Like, even though he stabbed his father's not bleeding, his father's not screaming in pain. His father didn't even feel like he felt that. In fact, his father called him stupid for not being able to realize something, and before counterattacking his son. And I think I saw this twist coming, but again, we'll get to the reveal together. I think there is a twist about, like, it not being his real body, but I can't remember exactly what the reason was. Or maybe that's his oversoul. Again, I'm kind of jumping ahead. I want to get that together, but since we're speculating, we do speculate on this channel. I think that might be Tao In's oversoul. Like, that might have been his real body, but like an oversoul of his body. And that's what Tao Ren was attacking, so that's why it didn't work. But anyways, we flash back over to Yo, Anna, Morty, Ryu, and Horo, and they all seem to sense that something is wrong in the air. Just like when, I think when Morty got taken, Anna and Yo sensed it. They sensed something was wrong. I think it's something like that because, you know, they care about Ren. Ren's now their friend. But that's when Basan appears on the ground, weeping and appearing wounded, even though he's a spirit. He's like crawling on the ground. He's traveled back to Japan from China to beg Yo and his friends to save his master. He's like, please, guys, you've got to help me save Ren. He's in danger. Basan then fills a group in on what happened. Apparently, Tao In took down his own son in one blow. That's how strong he is. Just like when Ren destroyed Bossa's full oversoul in one blow, Tao In took down his son with a single punch. Or whatever attack he used. And so, he then threw his son into a dungeon with his sister Tao Jun. So he's like, hey, you got to come back to China. You got to come with me to China. You got to help me save Ren from his father and his sister. And please. Basan himself managed to escape Tao In's clutches, but he came to the only place he could think of. The only person that Ren ever thought of as a friend, Yo. He's like, yo, I know you and Ren just became friends. I know y'all just fought each other and y'all rivals in the Shaman King tournament. But please, you got to help me save him. Yo then asks Basan if he's okay, to which Basan's just like, yeah, bro, I'm fine. I'm a spirit. I'm already dead. I don't know why that made me laugh that, like, Basan looked like he was wounded, and then he's just like, Yo's like, are you okay? And then he's like, yeah, I'm fine. It's just hilarious. Hilarious. That was a funny laugh. Again, I love the humor that they throw in here. But then Yo asks Basan to tell him everything from the start about his father, about Ren, and everything, and Basan goes into talking about it. We then flash back over to China, where Ren is chained up in the dungeon along with his sister, clearly exhausted and beaten up, and he asks his sister, like, how long had they been down here? So, like, Ren is chained up, his sister's chained up, they appear weak, they ain't got no food or water, and June tells us that Ren's been down here for 10 days, but she's been down here for 20 days, and she has not been able to shower. So the fact that he's not letting them shower, you can also assume he's not letting them eat, so, like, they're just starving down there, basically, getting punished for this. But since they're shamans, obviously they're stronger than a normal human, so they probably can handle this. She goes on to say that Ren can't beat their father alone, that their father's a monster, but Ren argues that monsters don't exist. Only the invisible exist, and since they're shamans, they can see the invisible. I do like that quote. That was a pretty dope quote that Ren said there. And no, he says their father has some kind of secret power, and he's going to figure out what it is, and he's going to defeat him. And that's why I do think that my theory is correct, that Tao In's body is an oversoul and his real body is like different than that or smaller than that. I think that was the reveal. We didn't even hear him quote Yo. Which surprises June herself. Ren says that everything will be okay, because that's what you would say. I fucking love that. And that's before we swap over to a panel of Yo, Morty, Ryu, and Horo arrived in China with the spirit of Basan ready to charge Tao's castle. It was so fucking cool to see this. Such a really cool panel. Especially like how badass they all looking. I want to try to use that as the cover photo. I'm going to see if I can find something like that. I try to like use those, but we'll see what we can find. Basan then thanks the group for all the help, but Yo tells him it's like no big deal. He's like, Ren's our friend. Of course we're gonna help him. Morty agrees that Ren is nice deep down inside, so I mean, Morty says like he's a jerk, but you know, he's good deep down inside. But Horo is just like, I'm just here for Chinese food. And then Ryu's like, I'm just here for a Chinese robe. So Ryu and Horo are like, we don't even care about Ren. We just here for some Chinese food and a robe. But you know, we gonna fight. We came here to train. We gotta get stronger. So you know, whatever. Let's down for this. Yo, you're our friend. So Ren's our friend too. That's what they saying. We then see Tokagero and Amidamaru were sent to scout ahead, but they claim that Tao In's castle looks deserted. To which Basan argues that the castle is always guarded. Tao In must be expecting them, or it's some kind of trap. But then I remember, like, he did destroy his own zombie army, and, like, Tao Ren also destroyed some of the army. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe, like, the army's actually destroyed, but we learned something else later. But I was thinking that at first. Yo makes a joke that he's probably napping around this time because that's what he would do. And again, I love Yo's character. Yo, you're just so silly. It was giving me the invincible type of lover from Paper Mario 64 because, if you know that story, how he's invincible and what the twist was with that, it gave me that kind of comparison. We then see, though, that Tao En indeed knows that they are there and plans to punish Basan personally for bringing Ren's enemies to his home. He then plans to use some kind of secret weapon, which he has locked behind a chain door. He's like, oh, Basan, you betrayed me. You as well also chose to leave in Yo Asakura. So all three of you are going to get punished. My son, my daughter, and Basan, you're all going to get punished with the secret weapon. The secret weapon appears to be 5 special zombies known as, again, I'm going to butcher his name, the Gofasuke Band. They're 5 specialized zombies. We're going to get into that, what's special about them in a second. But unlike the regular zombies that they fought before, like Lee Parasan, these have been specialized. He goes on to explain that each one of them are fused with the strongest elements and that they are his most elite zombies and they are unbeatable. That's what Tao En says. But again, there's something specific about them that we'll get into later. Back with Basan, Yo, Ryu, Horo, they arrive and Morty. They arrive at the door ready for battle. While Morty's just sitting there like, what can I do? Like, Basan's looking angry, Yo's looking angry, Horo and Ryu looking badass. So you got Morty looking all scared. He's like, what can I do here? This also gave me bias on my scene in Shobu Samurai when Project Aryoku when Haikuo was thinking about the Saint Shields, and like Shobu, Haikuo, Gatsu, they're all raiding the castle that the Saint Shields are in. It was giving me those vibes. I might even got inspired with that scene from this. We are then shown the layout of Tao's castle, which has 6 floors. The top floor, I guess, is where Tao En sits. And then below it is like 3 other floors, which they explain are like basic floors. I'm not sure what's on those other 3 floors. But beneath the floors, the first subfloor holds 100 more zombies. So that's where Tao En's other zombies are. There's 100 zombies on that floor. And then beneath that is finally the basement where Tao Jun and Tao Ren are being held prisoner. So they're like, the goal is to save Tao Ren first. But they're expecting a clash with Tao En. They're like, we're obviously not getting out of here without fighting Tao En. Obviously, we say Ren and June, like he's going to fight us or he's going to send somebody to fight us. So we got to get ready for a fight and attempt to save them. Now, Yo does warn Morty that unlike a Shaman King fight, their lives are on the line from here on out. And he wants Morty to stay out of the way at all costs. He's like, stay by us on side. Do not get into a fight, Morty. I cannot protect you. This is not the same like a Shaman King fight. Like, there's no proctors. We're on the enemy's territory. We're in the enemy's house. We're in the enemy's base. Stay by Basan's side. Do whatever Basan says. Because, our lives are on the line, too. We got to save Ren at the same time. But before they can even step foot in the castle, they are met by the band of 5 zombies, who I'm not going to try to butcher again, the Gopasuke band. They're met by them. And they're like, hey, we're the greeting party. Y'all are in our base. Y'all are in our master's castle. We're here to kill y'all. Ryu is surprised by the sudden appearance and is the first one cut down, which if you haven't already guessed, they probably cut his pompadour again, because that's the gag with Ryu. And Ryu immediately goes down. Now, that's played off as a joke, but there's a badass moment coming up. They apparently have superhuman speed, and Basan, who had only ever heard of them, had never seen them before because, Tao En kept them locked away. He's even surprised. Morty's afraid that as they even seem like they're going to end him in one blow. Like, they're all hovering over them in this really cool shot where they're all about to attack them at once. And they do, eventually, I think, crash down where they're at. And I thought, maybe, something cool would happen, Yo might have blocked them or they all might have blocked them. But nope, my boy Horo got the entire group on his shoulders and moved away in the nick of time. And I love the look in Horo's eyes, the shadow over his eyes, the anger. So fucking cool. Again, I love how these manga artists draw these designs. We then see why they're special zombies. Unlike Basan and the other zombies who are still basically human, they're zombies, but they have all their human parts. These are chimera zombies. They all have animal-like parts and man-made firearms attached to their bodies, like a Gatling gun, a bazooka, cheetah legs, snake arms. These are modified zombies, chimera zombies. And we then see Horo has a new attachment for using his snowboard. Instead of adding it to his legs like a normal snowboard, like he did in his first fight against Yo, he attaches it to his arm, like, you know, like a, not like a hammer, like a shield, I guess, like Captain America would wear his shield. And he goes on to say that he's not impressed by these special zombies, even if they manage to take down Ryu. Like, he's not impressed that they managed to take down Ryu. Or maybe Horo knows something, because again, there's a twist coming. We didn't see Horo has a new oversoul, which looks so fucking cool. I remember when I read this the first time in the manga, I think I drew this. I think I sketched this or might have like traced over it. It is so cool. It like turns into like this like giant frozen fist that hovers over his arm like a cannon. He calls it the nipple punch. It freezes the moisture in the air to immobilize his opponents in midair, and he single-handedly destroys one of the specialized zombie chimeras by punching it with his nipple punch. Again, so cool. I love the thought of that. Like the fact that like he freezes the moisture in the air and it causes his opponents to freeze in midair. That is so cool because already like it's given like, you know, Toshiro Hitsugaya's ability with his ice powers, but also again I read Shaman King before Bleach, or no, Bleach was my first manga, I think. Yeah, that was my first manga, but still like. When I read Shaman King, this was like, I think already made, but very cool. A second Chimera goes to attack Horo from behind, but while it's distracted, he's cut down by Ryu. Ryu was not killed. Ryu was just dazed because he got caught off guard. But also something hilarious happened. But I love that Ryu got this cool ass shot just cutting this guy down from behind. Also, get ready to see Ryu's fourth Pompadour transformation, as now not only has it been split, now it's been split in two. Like now it's like looking like Princess Leia from some Star Wars again. And I think he has this Pompadour form for a while. I don't know what it evolves to after this. But again, fucking hilarious that his Pompadour just changed again. I also love this dope panel of Ren and Horo standing back to back telling Yo to keep going about them and to save Ren. They will take care of the Chimeras. This will probably be the cover photo I use because this fucking panel is so fucking dope. So fucking cool. I've seen these two. I wish I could find it in color. I probably won't be able to. But again, fucking dope. Down in the dungeon, Tao Jun can hear the fighting upstairs and is surprised, but it is Ren smiling that is most shocking because he says he knows Basan went to get Yo's help and that Yo came here to save him. He's like, Basan, of course you went through all that trouble to save him. And Ren smiling this much is so awesome because, again, this is the most we've seen him smile. This is like his character development. We're seeing like the change inside of Ren happening full circle. In the final page, Yo makes it down to the basement and has come to save Ren with the spirit of Basan and Amidamaru. And I love the mutual smirk they both have on their faces as the two good friends reunite. That is how the volume ends. Ren and Yo smiling at each other. That's the full circle I was talking about. I fucking loved this volume. One, because we got so much development from Ren, seeing like the personality that Jun was talking about, seeing the change inside of him, seeing that he is a good person. Two, Ryu is now a confirmed shaman, his partner is Tokagero. And three, seeing his Pompadour change twice in the manga, in one same volume. Fucking love it. Also, seeing how strong Ryu's gotten. Ryu might be at the level, not a Yo, but at Horo's level for sure. And we know that Yo is stronger than Horo, but we know Horo ain't weak. So, fucking loved it. Again, it's just a great manga panel, just a great manga volume. Let me know your thoughts about this. Speculation for volume 9. We'll probably learn what Tao N's true power is. Probably get that reveal that it is an oversoul. And then after that, I think we're going to the Shaman King tournament. This was the arc I remembered happening before the Shaman King tournament. What happens in the Shaman King tournament, I don't remember. But I do remember this part about the, up to this volume, about saving Ren and fighting his father. But I do know, as far as my memory serves, I do know I got to like volume 22 or something like that, volume 28. But I never got to volume 32. So I know there's these 4 volumes I never read. Or 5 volumes. I think it's like 35 volumes. Either way, I had such a great time with this. I don't want to drag this video out. But let me know your thoughts about Volume 8. What's your favorite character so far? What do you think about Ryu coming back? What do you think about Ryu's new like power and teaming up with Tokagero. What do you think about Horo's nipple punch? You know, what do you think about Ren's change in personality and how he's grown? Let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Happy New Year's to you guys. Again, this will be my New Year's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys will be checking out. So, the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku. 10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home seeking vengeance, but instead faces the choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are 2. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Konjuis Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these. But I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne, Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite. If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red will Rain Over Your House. Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfmen should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love Be Caged right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.